for the MMA Junkie Radio Show on March 29, right, guys?
Yep, March 29.
March 29.
I confirm.
Do you confirm?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
29.
Is that from,
Catch me if you can.
No, it's do concur.
Concur,
Not
that's right.
confer, yeah.
Do
Concur.
you concur? Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was,
And then the other guy goes, why didn't I concur? When he got tripped up a little bit.
the submarine movie.
Oh, that one
They do
is,
that
that one's I concur. Wait, yeah, they say that too on Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide, yeah.
When they say, is this an accurate printout or something like that? Or these orders are official? And the other guy, the XO, goes, I concur, sir. Yeah. I guess that's just a fancy way of going, hell yeah. We're good to go, dog.
Yeah.
Push that button.
I wish one of them would just go, yeah, fool, I opened the same envelope as you.
Exactly. I got eyes. I got 20/20 or the adjustment for it. Of course it's the truth. Are we sitting here lying to each other? Yeah, we're looking at it. Fucking push the button already. Chechenko's loading up. They might trigger us out first, right? Anyway, two great movies from the 90s. Crimson Tide. I'm not sure if this one's from the 90s too, but it came out afterwards. Hello, Danny. U571.
Oh, U571.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So
That
check
wasn't
this
too
out.
bad. That was okay.
Yeah.
Man, George has his copy
Armageddon
today.
Day.
He's all amped up.
The first one was Deep Impact. It was about a comet that heads towards
Oh,
Earth.
isn't that with whatchamacallit?
That Armageddon Day comes out 2 weeks later. I'm like, you fucking momos couldn't figure that out? Like space, like literally, if I'm the executive producer or the director and I find out someone's going to beat me to the punch, I go, put the project on hold. Let's do a Disney movie. Let's do Rocky 12, something. Let's get away from this. And we'll just come back stronger in 5 years. Not 2 weeks later.
Armageddon was ridiculous, though.
It had Ben Affleck in it, right?
Yeah.
That's why it won.
Yeah. It won what?
It did?
Well, I mean, more important than Deep Impact.
Why is that?
Because I know it. I've seen
Do you
it.
concur, guys?
I don't concur.
Yeah, I don't concur.
I've never
either.
seen Deep Impact.
I think they were just both good, but neither one was great. Well,
Didn't-
they're entertaining.
Didn't Armageddon win some awards?
I don't know.
Nah.
I bet you they did in Deep Impact, didn't it?
I don't know. But
minute.
now, let's switch to submarine movies. Crimson Tide comes out. Great cast. Gandolfini's in it. Gene Hackman's in it. And
Denzel.
excuse me?
Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel. And so they, it's about a submarine. And now U571 wasn't identical to it, but it came out close. Just, I think, not as close as the other two. But I like that it stood alone and it just had different ideas, different plots.
I think
but it was-
Saving Private
30.
Ryan and The Thin Red Line came out at the same time.
No,
Really?
did they?
I think so.
I don't think it was.
You
Now
know, Denzel
Uh-huh.
has got a monopoly on that name. If you just say Denzel, nobody ever goes, Erickson? You know exactly what you're talking
That's
about.
true. Is there another Denzel? I don't even
I don't
know if
think
I've
so.
ever heard of another
For
one.
movies?
Nobody
I'm-
has the balls to do it.
I met one, but he wasn't.
All right, guys.
You met a Denzel.
Yeah, but he wasn't an
Yeah.
actor.
All right, we got
It
to
was
start the show.
He's a shitty fighter.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space,
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
we've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology, MMA Junkie Radio, commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Go.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, Ari's co-host. Backy's handling the producing duties. It's Danny, of course. Sitting to my right is former Tachi Palace flyweight and bantamweight champion, also a UFC veteran, Ulysses Gomez. What's up, Yuli?
Just hanging out, man.
Good to have you back.
I know. Good to be back.
Been a minute.
Long time. I
I
know,
know.
man. Long time.
Been a minute, yeah.
Yeah.
How you been?
Can't complain.
All right.
Can't complain.
Can't say that I miss you because you pretty much bashed my forearms around and my heel and the some ligaments under my toes.
I know. Now I just take it on
Just
your
kidding.
brother.
I'm just I
Yeah,
heard.
thanks.
I heard he was not too happy when I broke the news yesterday that he would, that I had negotiated him to not do his workout. He goes, "Oh man," he goes, "You know how he's gonna take it out on me, dude." He goes, "This guy comes hard if I miss a workout." So I told him, "Don't worry, I negotiated some push-ups and squats. Did you do them?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I'm
So I don't know
late,
if that will soften the blow, but
if I'm late, he'll jack me up too. And it's like I could be like a minute or two late.
He was like, so I'm not working out today. I was like, yeah. Like, and I have to do a run and push and sit-ups. I go, that was your brother's idea.
Ulysses, I will ask him in just a sec, but I don't believe he's officially retired. But he's now in the strength and conditioning and personal training, private training business. So if you're a Vegas peep who wants to hit it hard and learn from one of the best, Yuli's your guy. We'll talk more about that throughout the show because he's sitting here for all 2 hours. He's going to co-host with us, and we'll catch up and see what he's all about. Of course, he works in the security field here in Vegas as well. So. Multi-talented young kid. You're doing well, Yuli. I like that.
complain.
Now, is this okay? Let's start. Is these things I'm talking about? Is it post-fighting career, or where are you sitting with that? Are you a retired fighter, or are you waiting for that deal, or what's the deal?
No, I think I want to have one more. You know what I mean? Then just kind of, fade into the sunset. But the problem with having one more is if you win, you think you can still do it, so you want to have another one. But
If you lose, you wish you would have gone out on a win.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, but I want to have one more, then just go from there. Maybe one more in Vegas would be nice because I've never fought in Vegas.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, have you talked to anyone?
No, not right now. I mean, right now, like, I got a couple guys that I train with that are amateur fighters. I'm helping them to get ready. So, once they're done, then I'll focus on myself.
Mm-hmm.
They're my main priority right now.
You do realize that as you get older, you get further away from your physical prime versus the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do realize that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, that's just the
Are you
truth of
talking
it.
from first-hand experience?
I am.
Okay.
Have you noticed these injuries I was naming off? I never really used to get those going to the gym.
Yeah.
So, I just imagine the further you get away from it, the
Yeah, but it's also
less likely you'll do it, or
but
maybe
the more you know
less
as well, though.
effective you can be. I don't know. I mean, GSP's going out there fighting for a world title. And he's full of confidence, and we'll talk about that because some big news happened as the show ended yesterday. But, I mean, we hope for the best. And World Series does fights here in Vegas. I don't know if you're a part-time guy at Extreme Couture from time to time, and the president is there almost every day, Ray Sefo. Bellator has yet to come to Vegas.
RFA
So that
or
wouldn't
LFA now, they come to Vegas
fulfill.
every now and then.
LFA has done it, and the UFC, of course, except that's where you were released from. So I don't know that there's a likelihood there. I think you'd have to win a fight before you revisited
Yeah.
that,
I mean,
right?
like, I know where I stand and that kind of stuff. So I don't have like any delusions of grandeur.
Any other organizations out there that just come hauling from
I
time
mean,
to
I don't
time?
know. Maybe I'll go.
What about these Russians? ACB,
Yeah,
EFN?
Maybe I'll get on the gimmick and go to Ryzen and just fight a heavyweight, just put like Brad Kohler and one
There's a
of the
price tag on that
UFCs.
though, right? What would that price tag be?
What do you mean?
Yeah, Ryzen heard
Fighting a
this,
heavyweight.
and they text you
I would never
afterwards, and they
fight
go,
a
you
"Hey,
would.
we're
There's
into
a
it."
price tag.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, give me a couple $100,000. I mean, I'll fight. I mean, it's money's money. You know what I mean?
So about $200,000, you do it?
I mean, not to fight Crow Cop.
Not to fight Crow Cop?
Fuck no. Can I cuss? Sorry.
Yeah.
No. It depends on who. You know what I mean? Crow Cop's would be
What's your Crow Cop price?
Man, $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. And what's your Satoshi Ishii
$1 million,
price?
$500,000 if I can put on a pro wrestling mask.
What's your Satoshi Ishii mask?
I've trained with
or
him.
mask
I've trained with him.
price?
I've trained with him before.
Have you trained with him before?
Yeah, at Striking Limit. I mean, we did grappling.
That wasn't what I asked.
Yeah.
How much? What's your Satoshi Ishii price?
I mean, probably $200K. I don't think he'll.
So from 200 to you need $800,000.
Crow Cop's a bad
Because
man.
Crow
dude.
Cop's there's just damage that comes with it.
Oh yeah.
It's not like you're not thinking like he could fuck up my brain. You're just thinking he's gonna jack. Like, I mean, explain to me why there's an 800,000 gap between Ishii and Krokop. I mean, Ishii's not gonna tickle
Have
you.
you seen Krokop fight?
I mean, he's gonna toss you, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be some stuff going on there. But yeah, of course, I see him fight. But
Yeah.
what's the deal with? I guess. I mean, are we talking about for $800,000? It's just the
Well, it's like, who would you rather fight?
the violence of the knockout Krokop's gonna throw your
like
way.
the violence. Yeah, yeah. It's like Vanderlei in his prime versus, let's see, another guy that'd be like heavyweight. That let's say Vanderlei versus Matt London. Both good guys, tough guys. One's a lot more of a way harder fight. One's more of a grind. One's more like, you know.
What if they go? Well, all we got is 500. Man, you want it or not? 200 for Ishii or 500 for Krokop?
I'll fight Gabby Garcia for 500. I'll do the run across the ropes too, like the other girl. Nah, I mean, yeah, I'm just talking. No, I mean that's a lot of money. Yeah, you'd be dumb to say no.
All right,
Yeah.
so I knew it. So that was his
Yeah,
beginning price.
Yeah, yeah.
But eventually,
What's
it's
the
coming
strategy?
down.
With against who?
Krokop.
I mean, give him a hug and say, "Hey, man, I got a family," and be gentle. He's tough, man. That dude's probably one of the
Would
best.
you just run across the way and throw a flying knee like Kid Yamamoto? Maybe that lands.
I mean, I don't even think that would do much damage against him. You know, I don't even think I could.
I mean, he's got a chin, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, plus the likelihood of me getting up that high because he's probably a lot taller than me. But I mean, it's one of those like realistically, I would never fight him. Like when Krokop to me would have been like Kid Yamamoto in his prime, before he, kind of like got wrestled a lot by Demetrius Johnson, that kind of stuff. Like he was like, man, like that'd be a tough fight. That was like the Kid Yamamoto was like the Krokop of like the lighter weight classes, dangerous, can wrestle, can fight, and that kind of stuff. So
Oh, did you answer the question about the Russian outfits? Have any of them hollered at you?
no,
Ryzen,
no.
nobody?
No, I've had like smaller shows in California hit me up, but it's always like last minute. We want you to fight Jared Papienza, that kind of stuff, and I'm like,
When's the fight? Tonight?
yeah, it's
Stuff
like
like that.
tomorrow, that kind of stuff.
So you know how you say I'm a germaphobe? Let's say you put like a dirty sock in my shirt here, and it would make me uncomfortable, correct? You know what makes me even more uncomfortable
What?
than any germ or anything?
What?
And you love to do this. He puts his laptop, I don't know if you noticed earlier, but a good chunk of it was off, where all it took was like one of these, and it would probably tip over and break. He does that a lot, and it makes me so uneasy.
That
And
might break
I
it?
didn't feel comfortable until you moved it back in just now.
Oh,
But the
well.
whole time as he was talking, I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, come on, move it.
Really?
Yeah, so you know how a couch,
Well,
you know how it has the armrest? He'll just leave it there. And we have a dog, and he's jumping around. And I know one day he's going to hit it, and that thing's going to tip over, and this guy's going to lose his shit.
well, he's a
But it
madman,
makes
dude.
me so uneasy. Like, I feel
Well,
so much better that he just did that.
Well, what I did the first time.
Yeah. Dude,
That bugs you?
yeah, like,
You know what that sounds like? Have you ever seen those videos? See if you can find
when the guy's
those.
like walking on the same feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When those Russians, they're mostly
hate this
Russians.
right now.
Can you find one of those?
What if I did it
All right,
like,
check
what
this
if I
out,
did it like
folks.
this? Look.
If you've never seen this
Nah, at
before,
least you're holding it. I feel
No,
better.
but like I put them.
if you've never seen this before, most people have, but if you haven't, you got to see this. There are some Russian kids, I think, that started it, but now I'm seeing it all over the place, where they
Oh, they jump off the
go
things?
on these
the ledges?
skyscrapers,
Yeah, no.
and they just, they walk
No.
off. But one guy's nuts, man.
Yeah.
What's the one where you stand, and it's like you're standing on a skateboard, except you're going forward and backwards?
Oh,
Is
the
that
hoverboard? Hoverboard, yeah.
He's hoverboarding.
Yeah.
He's hoverboarding and then making these twists.
I think that's the
And
dude
I'm thinking,
that did, like,
oh my God. And so, you know how Ghost just had that feeling? Like, don't do that, don't do that. I'm telling you, I can barely look at it. And then what happens is my testicles kind of go into my stomach.
Yeah.
It's an uneasy
No.
feeling.
That's the one where I think.
So
the
here we
dude-
go.
He did a cartwheel one time and caught himself at the very end. Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Why does he got a Yoda mask?
Because he doesn't want to be identified.
Yeah,
He's probably done this before and gotten in some trouble.
I think it's illegal in certain
It's
parts
gotta
of the country.
be.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
You wouldn't do that, Yuli?
No, I mean,
Oh, God.
I mean,
And when they do that, I mean, oh.
I mean,
Like, at least on the other one, they're standing there, but when they're
Yeah.
hanging by their fingers.
interesting
just-
note, all white people in those videos.
That is true.
I don't know, man. Like,
Okay, right now when you're watching it, you don't feel like this weird sensation
No,
by
that,
your
like-
genitals?
That's
Oh, I
yeah,
don't
right
like
there.
that
What
right
the
there.
fuck?
Yeah, he probably has his feet hooked under the ladder. Yeah, no, I'm good
Yeah,
on
I'm
that.
not down with that.
Yeah.
Or maybe he had a parachute?
No, because it looked like he probably, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm good.
I couldn't even do that. I don't even like doing that right there. Just going to an edge of a building, looking down.
That is nuts.
No, yeah, they could take that.
At the Luxor, when I kind of look over,
Okay, so
I
that's
get a
not too
little
bad.
dizzy.
She doesn't belong in that one. I'm telling you guys, and you know what? Every 3 months, go to the Luxor and just go to the top and look over. Because if you stop doing it, as you get older, you'll become a phobe of is that what it's called?
Oh, no.
You'll have a phobia of the heights.
Yeah.
I don't have
and
it
it gets
like
worse.
that.
You have to conquer it.
Yeah.
You have to tackle it, and you just have to go, okay, here we go. Even if your knees are shaking, even if someone's holding your hand, do it. Take a couple deep breaths, whatever, and then, do it again or whatever. Because if you stop doing it, that's it. You're never going to go. One day someone's going to go, your son, Daddy, let's go on a roller coaster. You go, oh, hell no.
That's different, though. That's
hell
different.
no. And you can't do that. Because there's people that will do it. I have an uncle that was 70, and I talked him into a roller coaster. He was a gangster, man. I want to be like him. Anyway, there you go. So, like, what'd you Google just so people can look at it? Like, crazy
put,
Russians or skyscraper stuntmen?
I put Russian walking, and then it just fills it out for you. On top of building, on top of skyscraper, that sort of thing. You just pick
You want to see one more? And then we'll start talking MMA. Because people trip, man. You should see our comments on Facebook. When are you going to talk MMA? All right, now let's get to some MMA, and then we'll do it in a second.
Cool.
We'll do it in the next hour.
We'll talk about
Because it's a 2-hour show. We can talk whatever the fuck we want. All right, the big news. We log off yesterday, and Bisping tells GSP,
sign the contract,
or I'm giving Romero a chance. I started, I go, look at this guy. Like, some fucking balls on that guy. But I saluted him. I took off my hat, and I went, that's the way. I love it. Whether he was serious or not, I love that he put himself out there. And, obviously he's saying he wants to fight. He had, I think, a knee surgery, but he's coming back from that. He likes to be active. He's got 27 fights as a UFC fighter, which is tied for the second most. And the reason for that is because he fights frequently. So he wants to get down. Plus, he's getting older. He wants to make some money, right? However, he says it, and as I'm saying, what a G, he's the man, he's this, he's that, goes, you know how GSP could trump him just like that? By saying, all right, cool, fight Romero, and just hang back, and I go, oh, shit. that would have
been the most gangster
that would have been
move.
some high-stakes poker right there.
But even or Dana White could be like, no, you're fighting GSP.
Because look,
yeah, that's kind of like a side note, but
no matter what, okay? No matter what, whoever GSP fights, he's still making a big payday. It doesn't matter.
GSP?
Yeah.
Oh, GSP is making his money,
He's going to make money. However, if Bisping fights Romero, it's less money and
a harder matchup.
Correct.
So if I'm GSP, I go ahead.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Good luck with that.
But with that being said, though, and I agree with you, it's a less money, harder matchup. With that being said, it's a better matchup for GSP to fight Bisping than it is for him to fight Romero.
Correct. Exactly.
So they kind of need each other.
But when you say it, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I even started going, all right, and I'm not one of the conspiracy guys, but I started going, maybe Dana and Bisping have a good relationship. He goes, hey, send out this tweet. You know, we're not going to make the Romero fight. Don't worry, you won't lose your payday. Because Bisping, aside from GSP being a more winnable fight, they're both tough, but I think GSP's a more winnable fight for Bisping. That's just that bigger payday. And you can tell Bisping's been wanting that payday.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't so sure if he really meant it or if that was politics or maybe someone told him to send it or what. But we don't know. So I like to just say he sent it. He's getting fed up. He sent it. I thought it made some waves. It made some points. He's basically telling his fans, I'm not scared of Romero. Check this out. I'm going to check GSP. I'm the champ. I make the moves. I call the shots. I love that he followed it up with those types of quotes. And so I was like, man, I just that's one part of the game aside from the fight itself that I love, all that smack talk, you know. But yeah, GSP could have came back with that and said, all right, go ahead and do it. Hung back,
have fun.
Even say enjoy your smaller paycheck, you know, or hashtag enjoy your smaller paycheck, and leave it at that, knowing full well that Dana will call him, go stop being silly guys when we're gonna fight, but you save yourself. There's that G moment, right? Because only the hardcores decipher through that. All the rest, the other 80% that are casuals, are fucking eating it up, and they're at the water cooler or whatever. But we all know all the games that are happening. So I think you have to take advantage of it if you're GSP. Has there been a follow-up comment from GSP?
Not that I've heard, no.
Neither have I. I don't know. But
it's pretty funny.
I like the first move by Bisping. Now let's see if GSP says anything.
It's a game, though. Really it is. Because when you think about it as humans, when the possibility of the matchup is announced, you kind of do the math in your head. What am I going to do with that money? I could do this, I could do that. But once it kind of gets announced, you already start planning for that money. we're gonna buy a house, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that.
That's
There's
life-changing
no
money, man.
way
That's
Michael
probably about a
Bisping's gonna
$2
let that
million
money go
payday.
away.
I'm thinking it's about a
No
$2 million
way.
payday for Bisping. And so if GSP meant it, and he goes, "Go ahead, Big Mouth, fight Romero."
On Fight Pass.
And well, no, I mean it would be a pay-per-view. It just wouldn't sell as much.
Right.
And then GSP could go, "All right, I'll fight with Woodley." I mean, Woodley's a tough matchup. There's no way around it. But at least it's a 170 against the 170. Versus if GSP waits for the Bisping Romero winner, and it happens to be Romero, that's a tough matchup for GSP.
Romero's
Even
huge.
Bisping's a tough matchup for GSP, but Romero just he can
Big boy.
stop GSP from those takedowns that he
yeah.
gets.
Yeah.
Because he's just so damn athletic and explosive. But I don't know. I that was a moment I enjoyed in our sport. You have a reaction to it? Call in at 866-522-2846. That your friend goes.
Yeah, this is a lady that walks by every day, and I've trained her where I used to just wave, like that. But I like to do a big silly wave, like that, and then I like to add a smile to it. And little by little, she's been doing the same thing, and now I've got her to where next time
She's being
I'll let
silly
you know,
too?
she just sees me and goes like that.
That's
Yeah, I
almost
love
like
it. It's one of my favorite parts of the day.
that's almost like conditioning,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
The
You've just
Powerball.
been slowly leaving a little bit of a bait,
Slowly, yeah.
and now he's conditioned.
Yeah,
her.
every day she walks by, she goes,
Human psychology. All right. 866-522-2846 is the number to call in. If you want to chime in on that little poker game that was played yesterday by Michael Bisping and GSP. Something on your mind?
I want to talk to Ulysses Gomez about something.
All right.
Oh,
And
we talked about
hopefully
earlier?
he's either going to have my back or he's going to tell me I'm stupid. But
Or both.
you have trained with pro boxers.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Recently you just trained with one. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I was George Norris. He just fought in I think Manchester over the weekend. Number one guy in the Ring Magazine 135-pound belt. I think it's WBA, Ring Magazine, and some other stuff.
Pound for pound, he's in at least the top.
Probably top 10, 15, I'd say. After last performance, it looked phenomenal.
Okay.
Uh,
How did that go for you?
well, it's so they recorded the sparring session. They put it on YouTube, but he fucked me up pretty good, so it's probably on YouPorn now. But yeah, man, he's tough, dude. He hit me with man. I want to say it was either jab or straight right. I don't remember, but I literally heard like Guyu's sonic boom in the back of my head when it landed. I was like, "What was that?"
Like when the space shuttle's landing and it's too close and goes too fast?
Dude, like I think I think he hit me with the first one, and then because he snapped my head back, the second one missed. But I heard the second one like go right behind my head. And he's not. The crazy part is he's not even known as like a knockout artist. You know, he's a slick boxer. They call I think he's only had 3 losses. One was kind of off a cut. The other one was kind of a flash KO. He's probably like 43-3, I think. You probably check it out if you want. But
I'll look it up on BoxRec. Give me his complete name.
George Norris.
Leonard. All right.
So, all that being said,
Jorge or George?
Jorge. Yeah, sorry.
That'll make it easier. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
let's
I say
tie,
it right way.
let's tie this in. All that being said,
Yeah.
when people talk Conor McGregor,
Mhm.
Floyd
With Floyd.
Mayweather, what is your opinion of that
Okay,
matchup
so-
and how that would play out?
So the comparison is okay. So what's his record? He's 42-3. He's probably 10th in the world. He's won belts in 3 weight classes. With that being said, I'm not Conor, obviously. So you can say Conor is a way better fighter than I am. Okay, I'll give you that. Jorge is not Floyd. You could say that Floyd's a way better fighter than Jorge. So the comparison is kind of still be the same. His pressure, and he's a slick boxer, not really like a pressure fighter like some of the guys with stuff. I mean, I've sparred Wayne McCullough, and his pressure is amazing, you know. So, like, Wayne's always in your face. Wayne's more like Nick and Nate Diaz, where they're always in your face.
He's the current champion.
Yeah.
Lightweight, okay.
Yeah, I think he's about held about 3 weight classes.
Folks, BoxRec, BoxRec is where you can check all information on boxers who have ever fought, and it's similar to ABC or Sherdog, Tapology, where you can go in there and even Wikipedia. I mean, you can go in there and find out the career of any MMA fighter out there. Proceed.
Yeah, but anyway, so slick dude. I've sparred like former world champions. I've sparred Kevin Kelly, Wayne McCullough, and Bones Adams. Smaller guys. They've all held the belt at one point in time. Outside of their prime, did fairly good against them. I sparred them consistently for a while. George, the guy's in his prime. I think we probably did like maybe 6 to 9 rounds. over the course of 2 weeks. He for sure won all of them. 10-9s on all of them. He probably could have made a 10-8, 10-7 if you really wanted to lay into me, With that being said, I'm not the level as Connor is. My boxing's pretty good. I just don't show it. I think I have a little bit better cardio than Connor does, because I really don't get tired that much. I have, natural good cardio. Connor kind of fades. George is nowhere. George slick boxer, but he's not known as much as Floyd, obviously, defensive, that kind of stuff. Floyd doesn't get tired. If Connor was to fight Floyd, I would obviously, with puncher's chance and that kind of stuff can happen, but I would say it probably wouldn't go past 6 rounds.
The house you live in, would you bet on it?
I don't bet.
And there was no odds. You don't have to lay odds. You just say, give me your house if you lose, and if not,
I'll fight Crow Cop.
The bookie will give you his nice house.
I fight Crow Cop if I lose. Yeah, like I said, Connor kind of fades a little bit, with Nick and Nate Diaz, that kind of stuff. Floyd doesn't. Floyd's a slick boxer. Yeah, you can get hit with anything, that kind of stuff. But
you said it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, sparring. Yeah, with me and George.
Is that how it will look? The way you boxed George the other day is how Connor and Floyd would look. Similar. Well,
I think I'm a little bit more because I got brought in to push him, so I kind of came forward a lot more, than if it was a real sparring, probably would have sat back a little bit more and try to use my range, which he's just so much bigger than me, Jorge is. So it would look like basically I think Connor will lose every round. He may win the first round because Floyd probably take the first round off, kind of figure things out. But with that being said, you got to think you got a guy who's never fought professionally in boxing in Connor against a guy who's never lost professionally. Officially, I felt he lost against Castillo, I think. But, so you got the guy who's never done it and got paid to do it, and you got the guy who's always got paid to do it, who's never lost. It's just kind of like...
If you were to have a pro fight with him, how do you think the pro fight would go?
Oh, with Jorge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it wouldn't go.
How far would you make it?
If it was a 12-round fight and I'm in shape, the thing with boxers, they hit a couple rounds to kind of warm up and just feel the guy out. So I'd probably make it 3-4 rounds. He's not very a knockout puncher, and that's he's super slick. The ref would probably stop it, because accumulation of punches more than anything. But that's also I'm not a boxer and he is, so it's also it's kind of disrespectful. That's me saying hey, LeBron James, I played NBA 2K and I could beat you in 21. Yeah. It's not how it works. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, if Connor and Floyd fight, I wouldn't say it goes past 4 to 6 rounds.
I think it's gonna look silly.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also this is you got look what Randy Couture did to James Toney, and we're yeah, it's what we expected,
right?
So if Connor fought Floyd and Floyd starches them, the boxing guys are yeah, well, what'd you expect,
right?
You know what I mean? So it's kind of what do you expect? You got a guy who's never got paid to fight boxing, I guess he's fought amateurs. I had a couple amateur titles against a guy who's never lost in boxing. You know what I mean? Went to the Olympics for that. 49-0, should be 48-1, but whatever. You know what I mean? He revenged that, that controversial fight, and he's never lost. And you're getting against a guy who's never done it, or professionally has never done it.
I look at it like this. I look at it against a guy that's I think he's 5-time 5-weight class champion, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. He won a medal in the Olympics.
Silver, I think, or bronze. I think bronze.
Yeah. He's never lost in boxing. He's arguably the best defensive fighter in boxing.
Yep.
Versus a guy who is boxing. Because according to Connor, he's boxing. Did you know that?
Floyd's a better athlete too, arguably.
Did you know Connor is boxing?
Yeah. If you
there's a video out there saying he's boxing.
You quote Connor. Yeah.
Where's this trash talk going? There has to be a point.
Well, it's going right here because he got us talking about it. Obviously.
Yeah, it is.
It
is.
That's where it's going. But like I said, it's
But I could have not mentioned it to all the way leading up to the fight, and it wouldn't have mattered. I think there's got to be a time where you go back and you go, "What did I say? God damn, I got to lose that one."
Well, okay,
but he's said it a few times. He's boxing apparently.
It's compared to me and my brother. He's played soccer at the highest level. I fought at the highest level. If he came to my world, I'd starch him. If I went to his world, he's supposed to starch me. That's what he does for a living. Why would you expect anything different? Now, granted, there's 2 combat sports, so you can say maybe rugby and football because they're both kind of one and the same, but not really. But it's like you got a guy that's his whole world. He's never lost at it. He made millions of dollars doing it, you know. Like, and you get a guy who's dabbled in it. And let's say he is a boxer because he's more of a striker than a grappler and Conor. But for him to like beat the best guy ever, you know, it's kind of like.
The guy's never even really had that many bad moments. Like when we say he's had bad moments, they're really like normal moments for.
Well, I mean,
everyone.
okay, so he got.
How many rounds has he even lost?
Okay, well, so if you think, let's say, you know, you agree that he lost. I think it was Castillo, right? That a lot of people felt that Castillo beat him. Okay,
well, even Floyd or Oscar took him to a split.
Yeah. But then Shea Mosley, I think, hurt him in the second round.
Mm-hmm. Knocked him down.
No, didn't knock him down.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I think he might have.
He knocked him down. Not out.
I think his
no.
glove
He hurt him.
He hurt him,
really
yeah,
bad,
yeah.
But he didn't do.
And it was like his glove almost touched the canvas, which if it does touch the canvas, he knocked down. But I don't think he did. Then Madonna gave him a little bit of a tough time. But and it's also he's older.
Victor Ortiz rattled him mentally for a little while.
Then Conor then Floyd kind of was like, hey, come here real quick, gadoosh.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, it's like you get a guy who's he's had 49 fights. You know, not all of them were 12 fights. He's probably lost maybe 6 to 10 rounds, handful. You know what I mean? And just that his chosen sport is just straight boxing.
Against boxers that have boxed
their whole life too.
15, 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Former
this
champions,
guy's never boxed
professionally,
and he's supposed to be
never boxed professionally.
Yeah,
because I guess he has amateur titles from what they said. I don't know, you know.
Professionally, yeah.
On the average, if you match up an MMA guy against a boxing guy in each sport, so one in MMA, one in boxing. Who on the average do you think has the better chance to win their match? The MMA guy trying to beat the guy in boxing, or the boxer trying to beat the guy in MMA?
It depends on.
Just on average.
Well, it's hard because
I would say probably the boxer
beating the MMA.
Yeah, he could land that.
Because we saw it with Ray Mercer. Gloves. Ray Mercer landed that punch against Tim. In fact, Conor should just watch Ray Mercer over again. What did he do? What did Sylvia get distracted for that one moment that Ray Mercer came in there and he basically just caught him. I don't know.
It's hard because down the fire too. Like if Damian Maia was to spar Andre Ward, Ward would starch him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because Damian Maia's not a striker.
Kermit Citron, retired now, was an all-state wrestler.
Yeah.
So
they 147, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple guys out there that kind of had a little bit of that love or taste. Chris Algieri was an all-state wrestler. And also world kickboxing champion.
They said Roy Jones too was, but I don't know.
A few of those guys just have some of those skills, and maybe there's a guy like Cody Garbrandt who fights MMA who has a little bit of a boxing background. So for the most part goes, I think if you grab 100 boxers and MMA fighters, the likelihood of them going 100-0 in each other's is probably pretty strong. But if there is a 99-1 or a 98-2, I think I would lean towards maybe the boxer could do that.
To cut you off, I could associate like this. Like Carl Parisian, when he was, in the UFC, he said, he's like, I was top 10 in the UFC at 170s, fairly easily. He goes, I was never top 10 in judo in the world. Like, it's just that competitive.
I miss that guy. He really brought judo to the game.
He did, yeah.
A lot of judokas.
Before Ronda.
Oh, yeah.
But,
sure.
So with that being said, like, to be top 10 in the UFC, like, I fought Moraga, got knocked out. Then the next thing I know, I wake up the next day, I'm number 11 in the world at flyweight, according to the UFC ranking. So it's kind of like, whatever, right? So it's less competitive. It's super competitive staying there, but it's also like there's less people that do MMA as opposed to boxing. Like Conor, you could say he's number one guy in the world at 155, and arguably 140, 145. In boxing, would he be the top 20? It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like
you'd put your house on Floyd over Conor in boxing. What about Norris versus Conor in boxing? Isn't there a good chance you'd probably put your house on them too?
I mean, Norris is pretty hard. But then there's also like Norris. I've never stood next to Conor. Norris, that's a big dude for 135.
I've stood next to both of them, and Conor is a big 45er.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not massive.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how big Jorge was for 135.
I bet you his walk around is very similar to Canelo's. Because Canelo weighs 154.
Ish.
Yeah,
You know what's out.
it's a weight.
It's like Denzel.
I think it's a cut down, but I think he's a walk around 165, 168, and that's what Conor weighed for his
Yeah.
Diaz fights. He just can't get bigger.
Yeah.
You know, he's that size unless he really, attacks the weights or
yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
If you watch the video of me and Jorge sparring, it's on YouTube. He's a lot bigger than me, like a lot bigger than me. And granted, like he makes me look like an amateur, which I am an amateur in boxing, because I never did it professionally, obviously. And I felt like I had my moments in there until he was like, all right, quit trying to be cute and let's. But yeah, tough dude.
we should take our break.
Yeah.
All right, so you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio and Boxing Talk. We'll be right back. And we'll take your calls, 866-522-2846, if you want to chime in on old Conor and Floyd, or even Bisping and GSP, the stuff going on there. Bisping's threatening GSP to sign the bout agreement. Otherwise, the ship sails. He fights Yoel Romero. He really wants to fight on International Fight Week. Going back to last October, that would be like a 9-month layoff. And that guy likes to stay busy. Anyway, we'll be right back, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
It's called City Athletic Boxing.
Charm, compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
In the second hour, we'll be talking to Damian Norris. Fights at Bellator 175 on Friday, which is headlined by Quinton Rampage Jackson and King Mo. It's going down in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, and it's Friday, of course. Spike has you covered, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Gaston Bolanos is on the next Bellator card. It's 176, and that one's coming to you from Milan, Italy, except that's a hybrid MMA and kickboxing card, and Bolanos will be on the kickboxing portion. He made his MMA debut, Bellator 170-something. I can't keep track, but the one that had Mitrione and Fedor scheduled didn't go down because of Mitrione's kidney stones. Well, that fight card is where Bolanos made his debut, and he looked great.
That was a mean shot. He finished that fight
He
with.
sure did, yeah. Speaking of Peru, congratulations to Peru, their soccer team, who defeated Uruguay, which is a top-notch team, man. At home in Lima, Peru. It was a World Cup qualifier. Kept their hopes alive. It still looks kind of grim, honestly. I don't know that they'll get in. 5 South American teams are allowed to play in the next World Cup, which will be played in Russia in 2018. And they're in 7th place, but 7 and 6 are not too far behind 5. So there's a shot. The only problem is 5 is Argentina. Yeah, and those guys just don't lose very often. It's weird that they're in 5th place. It's usually them in 1st
No Messi,
or 2nd,
though.
and then Brazil in 1st or 2nd. But, yeah, they sit in 5th place. It's the other teams, I think, that it's the other teams I thought we were going to try and reel in if we could make it happen. But
Your brother
regardless.
He's an analyst now. I showed
Yeah.
a picture the other day. He was up on the big screen
Yeah.
at Mandalay Bay.
ESPN.
What is it exactly that he has to keep track of? All of soccer or just American soccer? How does that work from MLS?
Yeah, so when I spoke to him before it became official, he said that he works like 5 days a week. Two days are like MLS, American soccer. 3 days are like Mexican, because they touch on the Mexican league a lot too. But he says he has to be aware of it, pretty much everything, because even though it's just like, let's say just watch MLS and they pick up a player from an EPL league, he needs to know who that player is, that kind of stuff. So, and soccer's his passion, man. So he's always watching soccer. But so yeah, even though he says he works 5 days, he said he's always like working. And he has his own podcast too, so it's called the Max and Herc podcast. So give him a shout out on
What's
that.
it called?
Max and
Max
Herc.
and Herc?
Yeah, it's all just soccer talk. Yeah, so.
Would you like to be an MMA host or analyst like that, where you would have to kind of keep in touch with everything? Or if you did it, would you just primarily like to concentrate on UFC or maybe UFC and Bellator?
I mean, everything, because I think everybody needs to get recognition, and you never know where people start off at. Like for a while, Chachi Palace was like the premier place for 125ers, that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I would assume everything, but it's also like the more you have to pay attention on, the less you can really be like.
Just give them a pop quiz. Tell us what you thought of the Mekmulat.
Exactly. See, I'm like, wait, what?
Bibelatov fight versus Donovan Freela, which took place at
Oh yeah,
World
so
Series of Fighting 34.
Yeah, so I know Donovan pretty well. His girlfriend trains at the gym that I train at, so I see him every now and then. I just think Donovan fought 2 weeks before that. He was a 140 catch weight, and he was 3 3-minute rounds. And he looked like he got a little bit tired in that fight, so for him to go for 25 minutes, I was like, it's going to be a little bit hard. He made 25 minutes, but I just think he just got out-controlled,
His opportunity probably couldn't pass up, though.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's like anytime you get, for the show that you fight for, they offer you a title fight, you dumb to say no. You know what I mean? So he went for it.
What was it that his opponent was doing to him that night that he just didn't seem to have an answer?
I didn't watch the fight.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch
It's
the
tough.
fight.
It's tough to get to it all.
I saw the highlights.
Oh,
but I
that's
didn't
the
watch
fear
fight.
that Goose and I have when we walk in, that we just haven't gotten to all of them.
Yeah.
And we try and have each other's back, check in, like, do you see Bellator or whatever. But that's what you said. Free
Yeah.
low. You know, he comes in to the
It's so
gym.
funny.
2
Yeah.
weeks, this, that, whatever. And basically, we're just skating on thin ice, hoping somebody doesn't go, well, what'd you think about the opponent? And that's where we proclaim
I didn't even know the dude's
our
name.
guilt
I
and
just knew
say,
Donovan.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
You
But
can watch them all. It doesn't mean you're going to remember everything.
Was also
that's
Because-
another thing. Yeah, is remembering
Yeah.
it, man. My hard drive just
Yeah.
isn't what it used to be.
And it's not my
tough.
job to watch everybody's fights because I don't get paid to do that. I get paid to watch the guys I'm training for this guy Junior Gomez. He's fighting June 3rd in I think it's I Know Fear promotion in Hawaii.
I
got
Know
to watch-
Fear?
That's what. It was Hawaiian. So my pigeon's kind of a little messed up, but I'm pretty sure it's I Know Fear. And
Oh, well, no, but is it I know fear? Like, I
Yeah,
know what I'm aware of what fear is?
Yeah, but
or I have no fear
think
and they
it's
left out the have.
the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I Know Fear. That's
well,
pigeon
like I
talk.
said, my
That's
pigeon.
interesting.
Yeah, my
Okay.
pigeon isn't great, but that's the show he's fighting on. So the guy he's fighting, I watched footage on him because he's fighting my guy. If my
Can't
guy,
pigeon get you in trouble? Like, if you come home to your wife and go, I no bone girl. Or I bone girl. What would you do? Well, I left out the did not bone
Yeah,
girl.
no, yeah.
It
All right.
cracks me up. I like pigeon. It's cute.
I do
Yeah.
too, man.
It's cool.
Especially when you find a street fight on YouTube and they're talking pigeon before they get into it.
My buddy, he's Hawaiian. His name is Brandon, and he's from Hawaii. And I go, so are
That would
you?
make sense.
I go, well, are you Hawaiian? He goes, no, I'm Hawaiian. I go, then why don't you just say you're from Hawaii?
What?
Because he's Hawaii. He's from Hawaii.
Right.
He's Hawaiian, not Hawaii. And
Oh.
yeah, I don't know. We go back and forth on it, but
That was silly.
a little bit.
Yeah,
I know
you-
boner.
All right. Bolanos and Norris, I don't know if I finished that. They're in the second hour. So this hour is wide open to take your calls. 866-522-2846.
I read the schedule wrong. I thought he was at 10:30. I was freaking out.
No, both in the second hour. So we're good to go. Hello.
Hello.
Is that the one with the goofy wave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
Who is that?
I don't know.
You should
Does
tell
one of
her
us
to
know?
come in.
Should we just talk to a random person?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
All right.
I know boner.
Yeah.
No, we are.
We are.
We are.
Yeah. Sit down.
Serious.
It's true.
Oh, she's drunk. She has a.
Yeah.
brain there.
We're going to ask you some questions, though. We're going to ask you some questions. Fighting.
You know what's funny, Danny, is you're playing that music and your
Yeah.
sweatshirt's actually falling off.
So what we have here is a fairly attractive young lady
Uh-huh.
with a drink in her hand, and
Bloody
she was
Mary?
staring. Now, what people normally do in front of the race and sportsbook here in front of our studio is they usually stand, they take a picture, they wave, or they let us know that we listen and I'd like to come in. So I heard her say, "Are we on the air?" I caught that, so I go, "Yeah." So that told me she might be a listener, or I don't know. As she was walking, I even thought to myself, if she's not, let's just ask her some questions.
See where this goes.
Yeah, see where
Should
this
ask her how
goes.
about Conor Floyd.
Well, I was just going to ask her, I've been curious a little bit more about the popularity of women's MMA and what she thinks of that, what she thinks of her sport, and then after that, beat it. Unless she
Yeah.
was fun and bubbly, maybe a few other questions, but she just looked like a Vegas girl having a good time. She had a drink in her hand. I mean, fuck, it's not
She had a
even
Bloody
noon yet.
Mary in her
Yeah.
hand. I think her night hasn't ended.
Yeah, 10:30 in the morning, Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then when she did slip down that sweater, she had to look like
She had
with
some
maybe
muscles,
some
yeah.
guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
She smelled like regret.
Huh?
She smelled like regret.
Like
What if she
sauerkraut
would have
and
told you?
sadness.
Because you would have sat next to her. She would have said, "Let's arm wrestle, motherfucker."
I'd beat her up.
Yeah?
I'd
Are
beat
you
her.
good at it?
Arm wrestling, yeah.
Yeah.
You ever done Turkish arm wrestling?
Is there a lot of technique to arm wrestling?
Yeah, actually there is.
There is,
There's
yeah.
there's a documentary on it. I think it's called Pulling Joe or something like that.
Yeah, there's some tricks that
Yeah.
you can gain, some leverage. In fact, that guy, the big guy, Richard, I think was his name, one of the best arm wrestlers ever produced by America. God, I'm spacing it on his last name. He came to the studio, and then we picked his brain a little bit, but he told us about the positioning and just the thumb, the web between the thumb and the index finger, very important of how deep you want to get in, and the curvature of
the angle.
It's like a pull. So even though you're trying to bring somebody down, it's like you're trying to pull them in as well. That, the wrist, three little things that I forgot. I don't really go around challenging people to it.
Just
But
watch
he
over
said
the
just
top.
that alone, if you have a certain technique and someone's stronger than you, you should still prevail.
Lorenz Larkin had to arm wrestle on our trip to Virginia. That was
He
pretty
did,
fun.
but it looked like he'd like to, and maybe he knew a little bit about it or knew he was good.
Speaking of
Because it wouldn't
Lorenz,
took like much. We didn't have to go, come on, do it. He'd say, Lorenz, arm wrestle. The guy, nah, come on, all right. You know, it wasn't like a much. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you really had to push him or nothing.
Speaking of him, what do you think about his matchup with Lima?
Well, how about the fact that he's getting an instant title shot? Does that mean Bader gets one as well? Like, that's a precedent that's been set. I'm into it. I'd rather not do it. I'd rather.
Build him up?
I mean, I guess maybe if there's no
But
one
not
out
even
there.
like a big build-up, just one fight.
One fight. That's all I need.
Like
Yeah.
what they did with
One
Ben
fight,
Henderson.
Jeez.
just so that it
Well,
introduces
Henderson
him
got an
to
instant
the
title
audience.
shot too, though, right?
Yeah.
That 170s.
And that
He
went
did,
horrible
yeah.
for him.
Yeah, well, yeah, tough matchup.
Yeah.
Higher weight class. Yeah.
But then he fought Chandler after that too, and didn't go that well either.
It was a good fight, but you're right. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't win, and Chandler, got some good shots in, and then he had that
The suplex.
suplex, man. That
Suplex
was
City.
monster. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Bellator says we're paying these guys money. Let's just get into it. But a long time ago, is it time?
Yeah.
Well, I'll finish this thought. A long time ago, I think there used to be this play between the organizations where you also just didn't want someone waltzing in and proving that their product's better than
Better, yeah.
yours. So you had to give them that feel-out fight. And if it works, good. At least we introduce them to the audience. But you just don't want someone coming in and getting that instant title shot, and then everybody goes, "Yeah, see, they're pretty good over there, and you're inferior product or whatever." But maybe times are changing. All right, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We have Ulysses Gomez in the house, and we'll be right back after this break.
They were forged from the same ball sack, but act as though they've never met. They are the brothers Garcia, Gorgeous George and Goes.
You and Ulysses, or you and Hercules have something in common. You guys were forged from the same ball sack as well.
Yup, allegedly.
How often do you talk to your brother?
Now that he's not playing soccer and traveling, we talk about once or twice a week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I bug him about his podcast, and then because I don't follow soccer as much, so I'm like, "Yo, is that?" And he'll be like, "Yeah." Or I'll ask him like,
His team's Manchester United, huh? He loves them.
He loves them, yeah. But
They're going on a tour this summer, and tickets go on sale today. Except one of the, it's kind of silly. It's called the International Confederation Cup or Internationals. I forget. It's an ICC though. And one of them says Man U against Man City. So you go to hit tickets and it says venue to be announced. Well, what if I buy the tickets? That's in New Hampshire.
You can't make it there.
What the fuck, you know? So I would be nice for them to make that announcement. They also play Barcelona, Real Madrid, and then they have 2 games, one versus the Galaxy and one versus Real Salt Lake. Both of those will be in their home terms. So I forget the name of that stadium out in Utah. Do you remember it?
Rice Eccles, I think.
Something like that. That one, and then StubHub.
Yeah,
which is Carson.
Yeah, Carson.
What it used to be called?
Home Depot.
Home Depot, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the 2. But if I want to see him, I kind of want to see him play one of the bigger teams. No offense to the MLS. So that's Real Madrid in Santa Clara, which is where the 49ers play. If you get that reference, I got $4 on me. You can have them. Santa Clara.
It sounds like a National Lampoon's movie.
I think if I owned a movie, or a house, I would, the same way he's putting it up against.
You put the house up?
I would put the house up.
Well, he caught Catch Me If You Can, so that was pretty sharp. You could tell he was on his toes.
Yeah.
That's what, her name's Jules, right? That's what Jules tells her mom as they're driving to Jess Minder's sister's wedding, where she might be going to college in the movie Bend It Like Beckham. I thought you had a chance at it because there's a little soccer in
Why
you.
would I watch Bend Him Like Beckham? I'm a grown man.
Because, what's her face? Keira Knightley's pretty.
I don't even know who that is.
Really?
I don't watch TV, man.
You don't know who Keira Knightley is?
No, man. No.
You know, she's been in Pirates of the Caribbean. Not the porn version. She's been in Pirates of the
I
Caribbean.
didn't know there was a porn version, but I'll have to check it out.
You were very familiar with YouPorn and how that works not too long ago.
I mean, I've heard.
Oh, you've heard?
From a friend.
Okay. Oh, what? Is somebody listening? You don't want them to think you have a edgy side? Or?
Nah, she's at work. She don't care.
Yeah? Okay. What's the last porn you saw?
I don't know. Superstar by Kim Kardashian.
Superstub?
Superstar. No, Superstar.
Is that what they named it?
Google.
Oh, the one with Kanye.
With Ray J.
They did?
Oh, Ray J?
Ray J.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I didn't know if Kanye and her had done one, too.
I don't know.
All right. So you can obviously hear the music. The end of the first hour is up. When we come back, we'll be talking to Damian Norris, who's fighting at the Bellator 175 card. We'll also talk to Gaston Bolanos later on in the show. And again, if you want to get in, we'll take some calls, 866-522-2846. I also have the Facebook open, so any questions you want to lob our way there, do it. We'll get to it. We'll be right back.
You'll never be the same again.
Not.
500.
All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. I want to thank Ulysses Gomez for allowing us to play his next walkout song to his final fight.
Yep.
Yeah, good choice there. That's called "Believe" by Smashing Pumpkins.
As long as it's not Creed.
Actually, it's Tonight.
Tonight? Oh, sorry. Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Did you just take a shot, like whatever the last thing he said was?
I think so. I got to say one thing here, and then we'll get to our guest, Damian Norris. Sammy the Squid, giving him some love here wearing his shirt. He did a March Madness pool, and I would say that half of the people that played in it are junkies. 2 haven't paid, though. So, N. Kelly and R. Gomez, pay, please, because you probably found out about it through listening to the show or through the sharing I did on Facebook. Please pay up, because otherwise you'll force me to pay up, because I don't want Junkie Nation to look terrible, and I just don't think that's fair. He was very clear about the fact that this wasn't for funsies. Winners great, losers are dodo birds. It wasn't nothing like that. It was for money, man. We're all adults here. It's not much, so it's not like there's going to be a big investigation. And the thing's coming to it finishes up on Monday. We got the Final Four on Saturday, and then the final game on Monday. And then he would like to PayPal or do whatever he's got to do to get the money in the winner's hands. And I just
Stick Muna from San Francisco on him.
I don't think it's
Where's
fair.
my money?
Where's my money? Give me my money. All right, so on Friday, we have Bellator 175, headlined by Quinton Rampage Jackson versus King Mo. On that card, we have Damian Norris, 6-2 overall against Tom Schoaf, 8-2 overall. And we're joined now by Damian Norris. What's up, Damian? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Love the name, Pretty Boy. I like it, man. You, did the ladies give you that nickname, or did you give it to yourself?
I mean, I wish I would have given it to myself, but
No, you don't wish that.
Kid,
you wish that a bunch of
I know, I
girls
was
just
just
constantly
joking.
called you that, and you said, all right, I'll roll with it.
I mean, I do get that here and there when I go out all the time. A lot of people are like, why do you do fighting? Do you want to mess your face up? But when I was a kid growing up, I did Taekwondo, and my Taekwondo teacher used to always give me, grief about wanting to take a shower right away. And I always complained about, sweating as a kid. And I always wanted to take a shower right away. And she's like, you're such a pretty boy. So she
I like it.
kind of just given me that name. So I kind of just stuck with it. So.
See, I'm Gorgeous George, but I don't have a story where a girl gave me that name.
Well,
It's
you're also
actually
not gorgeous.
Well, it's true. It's a high school teacher, but he was a male, and he gave me that name. So I don't have anything to back it up with. I wish I could say, yeah, I was at the Hawaiian Tropic, and that's what the girls kept calling me all night. Nope, nothing like that. Pretty Boy. All right, I love it. 6-2 overall, 3 TKOs, 3 submissions. It's another thing that just glaringly stood out to me. Sounds like you're a well-rounded fighter. At least you have been in your 6 victories.
Yep. Right now I'm 8-2. So hopefully I'm going to be moving to 9-2. I feel very confident in my, ground game to stand up, and for sure on my wrestling aspect because I just moved out to Sacramento, so I'm training with Team Alpha Male. On that whole aspect, I feel very well-rounded. So I'm excited to get back in the cage. I mean, I just fought on February 25th, so I'm already jumping right back in there.
Is wrestling your background? What was your background in combat sports?
When I first started martial arts, it was Taekwondo. I started doing Taekwondo and competing at a high level in Taekwondo, doing Junior Olympics, doing that and moving around at the age of 6, moving all the way up to age 18. And then I kind of moved into kickboxing, did a little bit of boxing, didn't really fall in love for it because I like doing tricks on, people, or just in general, I just love doing tricks because I came from a Taekwondo background. So boxing is very traditional. I like to be off the traditional base. For my instance, I'm southpaw, but I'm right-handed. So that's just the way I was trained, and that's, I can do both sides, but I like to be tricky.
Damian, you said that you're at Team Alpha Male right now. How long you been there, and what made you switch?
Yes, sir. To be honest, I got a really good job. I did finance for about 5 years. I worked at a dealership in Northbrook, Illinois. It was a Mercedes dealership, and I got a really good job where it allowed me to train full-time. And I was visiting that area when I saw that there was a job opening for that job, which is a huge salary increase, especially going out to California. The revenue is definitely higher. But I wanted to go out there because I needed the training partners. I still am using my coaches back home here in Chicago, which is Alex Tria out of Midwest Training Center. He's going to be cornering me. But I do love Alpha Male. I love the training partners. Like I tell everyone, we have people coming all across the world just to say that they can get on the team, and, they say that they're a fighter and they can't hack it in the first day. So for me to sit there, and I've been there going on 7 months, I would say about 6 or 7 months strong now. I'm training with guys like Darren Elkins, or Uriah comes in here and there. He has retired, but, he's always, I'm able to work one-on-one with him on choke series, and, Eric Sanchez to Andre Feely, and then Cody. It goes all over the place, like all different weight classes, all lightweights from 155 all the way down. So it is awesome to be around those type dudes, and, it's not even a starstruck type image. It's a friendship, and it's very chill, and I love that. You go to certain gyms, you got these athletes that have a chip on their shoulder. Everybody else at Alpha Male are trying to build each other. Somebody's good at something, we take from him. And we just kind of grow as a family, and I like that a lot.
Very interesting. Hey, you know what? If I can pick your brain, tell me what you think about leasing versus buying a new luxury sedan.
Okay, so you got to tell me, do you drive a lot?
Yes.
So you drive a lot. It could make sense there's 2 different ways. Mm-hmm. So you could lease a vehicle and get a low payment,
right?
Put about $3,000 down, get a low payment, and then buy it at the end of the year. But you have to pay taxes twice. That's the only downside. Mm-hmm. If you lease it and you don't drive a lot of miles, then you're in the clear. But if you drive a lot of miles, you can get that low payment to lease it, and then you just keep the car at the end of the year, after your end of your term.
Right.
So it really all depends on how you are as a person, and you want to. Now, I know people that move into leases very quickly, but they drive so many miles, they get kind of hit on the percentage. Now, if you're talking about a luxury car, you could be getting hit, anywhere from 25 to 50 cents every mile. Yeah. So just imagine if you got a $10,000 or a 10,000 mile lease, you go to 25, times that by 25 cents. It's quite a bit of money.
Right. I just got a lease, that's what I'm working on right now. But I stayed up all night reading about this, actually. So the fact that you brought it up, I'm picking your brain here. But it's a tough decision for sure. And I know that the miles will cost me, because the car I turned in is 4 years old. It's got 89,000 miles. So I'm averaging about 22,000 miles a year. That's a lot, man. If I go over, you always have the option to buy the car,
Yeah.
and then the miles just kind of go away because they're
Exactly.
making a deal with you. So, but it kind of like pretty much they pin you into a corner. Like, well, either pay the miles or buy the car at this point. So you're kind of handcuffed
So
to
are
buying
you
the car.
married
So
to the Fiat, or what happens?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Damien, how do you juggle working and training?
To be honest, man, that's how I was raised. There's a lot of stories that people know about me. I used to drive, just being an amateur fighter. I used to drive over, I think it was like 105 miles just to training and back. And, amateurs, we don't make money, man. Like I was working a part-time job just so I could pay for gas to go to training twice a day or, one time a day, But for me, it's just, that's the way I was raised to work and fight. My bonus is my fighting. That's my hobby. That's what I love to do. But that salary, I want to put away. I don't use that money to pay bills. Those guys that are like, man, I'm only fighting just to pay bills. Then you shouldn't be in the sport because you don't have a love for the sport. It's going to break you at some point. You're going to be like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm hurting. I'm tired. When you have a love for something you do, you'll be a champion. Doesn't matter what the record is. Doesn't matter anything. At some point, you're going to be a champion. And that's just the way I've been raised, is to always work. And, I have good, upbringing. And, I was thinking about being an engineer. And if I was an engineer, I wouldn't even be able to do fighting at all. Like I did finance for 5 years. I make great money doing finance, and I sidelined that so I could fight. So for me, I have other goals at this time. I want to dream, so I don't, I want to chase those dreams and make sure I get them, because I don't want to be like waking up one day saying, what if I did it this way? I want to do everything I would love to do and just chase it right now.
So you're on the finance side. You don't sell the car. You're on the finance side of.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
Might
sir.
have to give you a call.
Interview.
Might have to call you later on so we can get into some more specifics. This is Damian Norris, who's fighting at Bellator 175 against Tom Show. All right, goes. What do you have for Damian Norris?
Damian, at what point in your career do you feel like this stopped being, I don't want to say an experiment, but something that you're trying out and then became something that you felt you would have a future in?
Like even when I turned pro, so that is a great question. So even when I turned pro, I really was starstruck by the whole image of MMA. I was like, man, am I really going to be good at this? Like, I really didn't put a lot of effort into it, and I just didn't really care for it. I just did it because I've always competed. I had a good job, so I didn't care if people made fun of me or if I failed or whatever. So, to be honest, I just being around the guys and seeing the level of an athlete I am and seeing how I compete with them and how I move, I know that I'm going to become a superior athlete, especially when you have the confidence behind it. But at this time, just by what I see, by my sponsors, by the people that recognize me more than I do, that gives you confidence where it helps you, take your career so much further. When you have the people backing you, always saying, hey, keep it going. You make me, when I see you working out, it makes me happy. Like, I love hearing my fans say that, like that picks me up. I could be having a bad day, but for somebody to tell me I motivate them to get up in the morning, like that helps you become something more. I've always wanted to be a role model, and, sometimes it does hit me that I can't believe that's true, but at this time, I'm starting to see that I can be very successful in the sport, especially by the fighters that I see that are either signed to the UFC, I can't believe that are signed to the UFC, or Bellator or whatever. But it's just, I'm not going to take their shine from them. At some point, I'll make it there.
How supportive are the people at work, and how into your career are they?
Actually, in Chicago, so I'm from Chicago and I just moved to California. So Chicago, a lot of places, they don't believe it. They're more focused on themselves sometimes, when you're in the industry of like working, they're not really focused on like what you're doing for your career. But a lot of people are like, yeah, I support it. But now if I go to California and somebody like just looks at me, they're like, you're an athlete. What do you do? You know, like somebody thought I was a soccer player. You know, so in California, in the work environment, they're so supportive. Like at some point, just how Paige Van Sant, she's from Oregon, I believe. You know, Sacramento, brought her as their very own. You know, like that she was like born and raised from Sacramento because that's how supportive California is. So to see the difference between Chicago and California, I know that I'm going to have two family whole states is from California and Chicago.
Will anybody from the auto industry be sponsoring you for Bellator 175?
I've been working on a sponsorship deal. Right now, I'm still negotiating, but I've been working at a few of the automotive industries in Chicagoland area, but I just can't release their name just because I haven't been basically signed to them just yet. But pretty soon, yes, I'm typically sponsored by a dealership. I have been in the past. It's just
very cool.
At this time, I haven't negotiated just yet.
You get to drive a car for free?
When I worked for them, yes, I did.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's one of the better ones out there.
It
Michael Chandler? Sorry to interrupt you there, Damian. Michael Chandler has a Toyota of Escondido sponsorship, and he basically has a really tricked out truck. It's really cool, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like much, but really, if you can do away with that payment and just always have the latest truck, I guess. I think that's one of the better ones that are out there. I don't know if there's more out there for athletes to get.
Yeah. See, I like my opinion. I want to wait until hopefully it's not 2020 until they release it. But it's the new Ford Bronco.
What are you, OJ? Why do you want the Bronco so bad?
No, I mean I'm not OJ, but I think you should totally Google that. You should Google it right now.
All right, I'll do that. Hold on a second. What am I Googling? The 2020 Bronco or just the next Bronco?
Yes.
Cool
Look up 2020 Ford Bronco.
All right, let's do it.
It's sick. I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, so
not as good as the Denver
Broncos. Me on the Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I'll give it up. All right, but you'd think they could get to that a little sooner, right? I mean, I guess the 18s are being played around with now, but who knows? That does look pretty sharp. Yeah. It's got a little bit of the old school feel, and I'm sure some modern bells and whistles.
Kind of got like a Jeep look to it. Yeah, because I had a Wrangler for a little bit, and I like the Wrangler. It's just I wanted something that sticks out, like that type of vehicle stick out when you custom make it.
What's the custom license plate gonna say?
Yeah, you can't fit Pretty Boy, so you gotta narrow it down to 7 numbers or letters, alphanumeric.
I don't know yet. I'm gonna try to. I mean, a lot of people. I have a custom plate right now. It's DPBN for Damian Pretty Boy Norris, but it'd be nice to have Pretty Boy on the plate still.
Would you have a suggestion?
I know it won't fit, but
no, nothing. Oh, okay.
No, I'm curious.
How about this? This is I'm having fun talking to you a lot, Damian. Hopefully, we're not taking too much of your time, but. You have a good story to share in your days and working in the dealership where someone lost their temper and maybe either you had to get physical or a little bit of aggression started to come out, because people talk shit in there, man. People get, they point fingers and they feel like it's a battlefield at times for a lot of people. I've cursed at a few people, but you just never know who you're talking to, and if they're wearing a shirt and a tie, maybe you think you can be a little bit tougher. But you have any stories like that?
Yes, I mean, I do. I mean, in a dealership setting, everybody's looking to make money, and it's literally just like it is in the cage. Everybody's trying to provide for themselves. They're trying to make money, and the worst job to actually have, on the sales side, people, either got money, they inherit money, they got money somehow, so they want to spend the money to get a car.
Right.
So typically 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get an angry customer. Sometimes depending on what area, wherever you are, if it's a richer area, somebody might come in with a crazy attitude, like, I want this now, I see a scratch in the car, blah, 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 But I would have to say I haven't had to deal with that because I typically take care of my customers, and they already know that I'm a fighter, so I've never had that issue.
You didn't have to play that
but
card,
I would say when I was a service ride, the service rider side, now that's when people don't want to spend any money. So service side, that's where I started. Service, I've watched a customer literally backhand one of the riders.
Whoa.
And
I don't hear that too often.
I had to, escort the guy out. I really didn't like the guy that got backhand because he would steal basically tickets and close them out, and he would basically, take the money of what my work was doing, but he would close them out under his name.
So you kind of giggled when it happened then.
He kind of got what was coming, but when I walked the guy outside, I gave him props for doing it. But I told him, I was like, sir, I got to let you, you got to go.
That's too funny,
I thought
man.
it was the funniest thing ever.
I'm just picturing, I've been to these service places, man. I wanted to backhand a couple people myself, but imagine that. You just go to work, people get a little lippy, and all of a sudden someone just backhands you. What the fuck?
It takes a lot of anger and hate for you to go with the backhand versus just a slap.
Exactly.
Or
Usually it's just grabbing someone by the shirt, the shove, or something. But a backhand? Holy, how do you recover from that one? You
walked out.
You got to backhand someone else to save face at work. Otherwise, you're kind of a chump. But anyway, all right.
Yeah, but Ken's hand was strong on that one.
Hey man, thanks for sharing that story and that 2020 Bronco's cool. Now I'm gonna Google 2020 every car I've ever wanted to buy, and I didn't know they were that forward thinking. I thought maybe you get a peek of next year's or whatever, but that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna do that.
In my opinion, I don't know where your finances is. My opinion of what I see in the industry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I would look into, if I were you, the incentives on getting an electric car. I'm actually looking to move forward with getting an electric car. I would like that because I commute a lot, and once I have my facility where I'm locked down at, I would like to have a charging unit built in my house. One, because I drive a lot, I commute a lot, I don't want to spend any more gas. So you seem like you drive a lot, so I would say try to look into an electric car. I mean, if you had good finances and you want to spend the money, I mean, you can always go to the BMW i8 or a Tesla. But if you wanted to get a little bit lower downgrade, which isn't bad, it's my parents have it as a Chevy Volt. And then if you want to bump it up a little bit, you can do the Cadillac ELR, I believe it is, ELR. I think.
Well, let me tell you this much, Damian. I don't know what Oren told you, but you're not on the Howard Stern show. You're on MMA Junkie Radio, so I cannot afford a Tesla for sure, or anything in the 8 level. I think the
Volt.
No, the Volt's a little bit more, a little bit more in my range. But those other ones are baller cars.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the suggestion.
Well, the money you get back,
Yeah.
but the money you get back is huge. You don't spend money on gas anymore, so. Think about how much money you actually pay, $20 here and there. So, I mean, over time, if you did an 8-year, buy, I believe you would actually pay it off because you're not paying for gas. And the conversion from electric to gas is not even comparable. So,
Ulysses, are you shocked to hear all this about the electric car?
I have one of my clients has a Tesla.
Oh, yeah?
And it's pretty bad. It has a ludicrous speed on it.
Is it an older model or is it one of
Brand
the
new
current models?
Brand new one.
Yeah.
2.3 seconds, 60 miles, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds.
So it's like plug and play?
Dude,
they're
man,
fast.
it's fast. It literally,
They're
when he
fast.
hits that button,
It's like a lightning bolt?
Dude, puts your stomach in the back of your throat. You're like, whoa.
Any help over here? Or?
They're fast
With
cars.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I've
all right.
never been in
Back
one.
in 2020.
I only threw 4 puns at you relating to the electric thing, and you didn't catch them, and Goes didn't chime in, so I was on an island by myself. But anyway, all right, Damian, thanks for the time. You want to plug any social media or anything else before we let you go, before that fight on Friday at Bellator 175?
Yes, I would like to thank my management company, Warren, out of KO Reps. Also RDX. They're based in the UK. They're my fully endorsed company. RDX is a huge sponsor of mine. They fully endorse me, and they're based in Manchester, London. And then the Shrine, which I believe they are based in California, but I believe they're based out of San Francisco, the baggage company. And then I just want to thank everybody that's on the radio station for letting me come in.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for the time. And goes. His manager is Oren Hodek. Say hello to Oren before we.
Hello, Oren.
There you go. All right, we are out of here, Damian. Thanks for the time.
See you guys.
All right, we'll see you. That guy was cool, man. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Did you get that reference? That was a movie reference.
No.
No?
I don't watch movies.
Come on, Ching. We were into it with
Dude,
Armageddon and
he does nothing. There's so many things that brought up where he goes, I don't do that. Like concerts. Hey, have you seen this guy? I don't do concerts. I don't do this. Like,
in that movie Deep Impact, there's an astronaut. He's an astronaut, right? Yeah. He's an astronaut, and he knows he's about to die, and his son's back home. I think he's with the significant other, wife, girlfriend, whatever, and his kid is Oren, and so he says hello, Oren, to him via satellite imaging. But he's literally said that about 20 times over the course of 10 years here that we've been doing the show. We had a guy named Will Orm, so he'd say hello, Orm. It's always been kind of funny. When the time's appropriate, we use that. You didn't get all that? Electric car, current, shocking, lightning bolt, plug and play. Or you were just answering 4 rapid fire questions.
I was into them.
I was waiting for Goes to chime in with his, and he's just sitting there like.
You know what caught me off guard was I saw a report, but it was a fake report, but it was a
fake news.
Yeah, it caught me for a second. I was like, wait a minute, is this real? I had to look.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back after this commercial. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93.
Didn't get none of the punch you were saying.
2020 cars.
They are the Wright brothers of mixed martial arts. They are Gorgeous George and Goes, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Thank you to Damian Norris for his time, and we'll be catching up with Gaston Bolanos in a few minutes. So, Mr. Norris was telling us he's looking forward to the 2020 Bronco. I did not know that you could... I should say that I've been on Lexus or some of the other car makers, and there's always this little tab at the top that says future cars. But they look like 2050 because they look like, they belong on the moon, or it's just... You look at the cars and go, man, when's that bullshit coming out? Because you're just thinking they're messing around, and it was 20. But I guess a lot of these cars, they can already give you a feeling of what you can maybe save up for. Like maybe you're a college student, and you know that in 2020 you're a senior, and maybe your parents promised you a gift, or maybe you know that you already have a job, and that you'll be able to afford. It gives you something to look forward to. Look at this 2020 Jeep. Like I'm not too much into the Jeeps, but that's different, and I like that they're just becoming very creative, I guess.
It's a bit boxy, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a Tonka
Oh,
car.
yeah. I mean, it does, but it's just, like I say, different from what a Jeep is normally like.
I like this one. This is a future car. It's a Ford GT.
Yeah, but see, I feel like I've seen something like that on the road, in the last week or so.
Really?
Yeah, like the...
Kinda. Same thing there.
Yeah, most.
That looks like the Acura NSX. Oh, that's the Ford GT. Holy
That's
shit.
the same car.
That does look pretty slick.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
Hey, so what did you guys make about Vanderlei not showing up yesterday for that press conference? Since we're...
That's a big fight, man. He's the main event. He should have showed up because it's June 24th. They're 3 months away. We got yesterday was May 28th. So there's
March.
April 28th. Sorry, March. April 28th. May 28th. June. So that's 90 days. Plenty of time to get down there, do his thing, and go back. Now, last year he was involved in an auto wreck, so I don't know if he's just had meticulous rehab or if there's maybe something that he's just winding down where he needed to finish out. Apparently he got the blessing of Bellator, whereas at first on social media they said he was a no-show. He didn't no-show. He was there. But I don't know. I would have preferred that if the athlete is healthy with 90 days to go, get to the fucking damn press conference.
It worked out for Nate Diaz when he did it with GSP and all that, missing all those audio conferences. Like it generated more buzz when he didn't show up. Or is that just because that's the Diaz brothers?
No. What happened was Nick was supposed to fight GSP. When he didn't show up, he got taken off the card.
Right.
Then there was a little bit of a backlash, and I think Diaz apologized, and then he fought BJ Penn. So he didn't get a chance to fight for the world title then.
No, but I'm talking
he did get to fight to it later on,
right.
and on those he did show.
When they had the phone interviews, he would just like, oh, well, we don't know if he just wouldn't show up or that kind
Yeah,
of
there's
stuff.
a little bit of something to that mystique,
Right.
but I think the actual appearance of promoting a card, especially when tickets go on sale, I think there's something about that is pretty damn serious. Otherwise, Dana would not have pulled Conor off 200, So there's something landmark about that day.
They need those.
Fedor came in from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was American-born, or living in America. Primus, Chandler, Larkin, but Fedor did probably come in from Russia. I'm pretty sure Vanderlei could have made that trip.
They need those guys to chirp. That's how they're going to sell that pay-per-view. They have to have that. They can't just rely on, hey, a couple years ago, these guys didn't like each other.
They need the interaction. They don't need Vanderlei to say anything. He'll just grunt. But they do need that interaction where, because you'll get in, Chael's face.
Grumble.
Yeah.
He was at it again. We were talking about smack talk that sometimes comes across okay, and sometimes you're just like, what? Like, I am boxing? I really don't get it, but you made a point. We are talking about it. Chael is going with the fact that Vanderlei is hard to understand. Grumble was pretty funny. He said something about him being in a shelter in Rio. Okay, I got it. Especially because Chael's kind of like a storyteller with his smack talk. And so we'll see in which direction he's headed. Vanderlei was kind of sitting there, pretty much giggling. A couple times he did the old, you talk too much. But the real funny one was when he goes, suck my balls. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And you even heard the audience laugh. So, like I said, if you're not the best at the gift of gab, just wait for a couple key phrases from time to time.
Yeah.
He took it up. He took it a step further and he did the old, the motion of oral sex. And I'm thinking, like, do you really want that one to live on? But, with memes and stuff, you got kids. But the fact that he just went, suck my balls, it was funny. And I think it caught Chael off. And so Chael goes, that's not what I asked. Call me Mr. Sonnen. And by then we're like, he ain't going to call you shit. He just told you to suck his balls. And the whole media laughed. Then Chael started picking a little bit on Fedor. But Fedor's sitting there like, I could care less what he's saying. I'm actually Fedor, if anybody's not aware here. So it was entertaining. We'll see. But your original question is what I think of it. I think he should hop on a plane and went. So he hopefully has a good reason not to. And it is. Is he going on 5 years that he hasn't fought?
Almost,
look it up.
yeah.
5 years.
Something like
so
that.
why would he not want to put everything he's got into this?
I mean, unless he's hurt and walking around.
Yeah,
maybe
there's something there.
So is there a whole new generation of fans who don't even know who Vanderlei Silva is?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because there's, in my opinion, there's these generations. There's the 90s, up, we call it the SEG era, up until when Zuffa bought it, which was early 2000s, I think. I don't know when the official transaction happened. And then to 2005, it was still Zuffa in 2005, but that's what I call the tough era. Yeah, that could be that. Then there's the tough era, and then at one point somebody said tough noob with Kimbo, and I feel like there was a new era there. But since then, I guess you could say there's maybe a Fox era that started in 2011.
Yeah, the Ronda and Connor era.
Is there now a new era that we need to think about?
The entertainment era.
The entertainment?
The WMG
The money fight era, maybe.
Money fight era?
Yeah, maybe. So, but I think anybody that's part of the Fox era has to remember a little bit of Vanderlei. They may not remember classic vintage Vanderlei from Pride, but at least they got a taste of some of his fights.
And unfortunately, when you say the name Vanderlei Silva, in my head, the first thing that pops up is Pride. Always.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that one. Chael, though, has that presence on ESPN and Fox and the podcast, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows who he is. I don't think this fight needs to be the headliner. I think it could be Fedor and Mitrione, honestly.
Yeah, but they
why they chose it, I don't know.
Probably because Chael can talk very well.
Yeah, but he could still talk as the co-main, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he could still take over a press conference. Or
I mean, granted, like if you're gonna buy a pay-per-view, I don't buy a pay-per-view just for one fight. I kind of buy it for the whole card. This card looks like
if you're a casual and you're flipping through channels and it says Chael, well, how are they billing it? Silva versus Sonnen, or do they call him Chael?
No,
Silva versus Sonnen. You're probably gonna go, oh, it's Chael Sonnen. Where if it says Fedor versus Mitrione, you may not be as familiar with Fedor because of it's been a few years. Is that what it boils down to?
I'm more sold like on the who Vanderlei was and who Chael was or is, and them fighting, and who Fedor was. I'm like Mitrione, like nothing against him, good fighter, but like I'm not like, oh man, I want to,
Right.
I'd rather see those two guys fight because I remember what Vanderlei brought to the table when he fought Crow Cop and Pride, when he dismantled Rampage, all the Sakuraba fights. Like that's like, oh man, like.
Okay, how about this? Well, why not focus on the name Chael? I think Chael's more of a, Chael, Sonnen, whatever. Whatever they want to call it, fine. But on fight night, shouldn't the great Fedor Emelianenko, didn't he earn the right to walk out last?
I think so. I'm more interested in the Fedor fight only because I feel like there's more upside to it. I think we know where we're at with Chael, and we know.
Yeah, if Chael had beaten Tito, I'd probably be saying, no, ride the Chael bandwagon, ride that wave. But he didn't. And so Vanderlei hasn't fought in. Wow. Vanderlei's a powerful name in our sport. You say Vanderlei, you know exactly what you're talking about. Brian Stan, March 2013. So by the time he fights,
4 years.
It's been 4. It's been a complete 4 and a quarter.
But my thing is, like, what sells me in the fight is Vanderlei's always in a fight. Name one more fight he's ever been in.
True.
You know what I mean? So, like, there may or may not be the decline of Fedor. We don't know. And that's probably why some people want to watch it to see if he still has it or not. He didn't look that good against Mandolano. But Vanderlei, like, he always comes no matter what. So it's kind of like, well, like, when I see the card and I see Vanderlei on the bill, I'm like, I'm buying violence in the name of Vanderlei Silva.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you. We're going to take this last break. When we come back, we'll talk to Gaston Bolanos, who's fighting at Bellator 176 on the kickboxing portion of that card. We'll be right back.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the
Don't put gum in my hair.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
So tomorrow we are confirmed with Sean Merriman, who used to play for the Chargers, I think the Bills, and a former NFL defensive lineman, wants to get a little bit of that taste of MMA, yeah. And we also have Pat Cummins, who fights for the UFC, CJ Hamilton, who headlines an LFA that's coming up very soon. So something to look forward to. And on Friday, we'll be talking to Gegard Mousasi, who has literally been, we speak of the Pride Days, one of my favorite fighters over the years. And I like the new Gegard Mousasi 2.0. He's been kind of funny.
A little more
He's been
vocal.
chirping and vocal and kind of like, I just don't give a
overnight.
fuck attitude.
Overnight, he just flipped that switch.
Yeah.
But he was so much more entertaining that way.
And he kind of still has that little sly smile.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm a good guy, but let me just play this up, you know. But yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck. And that's how you should be in MMA, because it took me a few years to learn it. You know, we all meet each other and we run into each other and we try and support each other when we can, but I usually need something from you. You usually need something from me. That's how MMA kind of works. So I get that anybody that wants to be standoffish, you know, but there's others, man, that they embrace you and they're your boy from day one. Man, MMA is it's a unique and fascinating game, but it's a little cutthroat and there's a lot of backstabbing.
Well, my thing with MMA is that you could say,
why should Gegard feel like, oh, I shouldn't find a teammate or something like this, when I'm telling you, man, once you're out of that same gym, you move on with your life, you may not ever be friends with that person again. Was it ever really
like
your
it's a forced
boy?
friendship?
Right.
My thing with MMA is you can say whatever you want, and that guy has the right and the willpower to make you eat your words. And if he can't make you eat your words, then whatever you said was right. You know what I mean? They said, oh, we don't say this. Like, no, man. Like, I'm going to say whatever I want. If he doesn't like it, shut me up. If he can't shut me up, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So people try to be too respectful. It's kind of like, well, we're going to go fight half naked in our underwear. Like, you know.
This is true. All right, we're now joined by Gaston Bolanos. He'll be fighting on the upcoming Bellator 176 card. What's up, Gaston?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good. Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio. You're on with Georgie Goes. We also have Ulysses Gomez here in studio with us. Welcome back to the show. Did you watch Peru versus Uruguay last night?
I did, and I was training, man. How did the score end up? I have no clue.
Uruguay took a 1-0 lead. 4 minutes later, Peru struck back, so they were 1-1 going into the second half. But at the end of the first half, Peru was moving the ball. They were threatening. And then in the second period, Peru scored and Uruguay got down to 10 men. But Uruguay had a great chance to tie it, which would have been classic Peru. But Peru won, man, in Lima, so they kept their hopes alive for the World Cup.
Well, that's awesome. Great news.
Yeah, I love hearing that. Who exactly are you fighting at Bellator 176? I really did make a good effort to try and find your opponent, but I couldn't find a name. But can you tell us?
I believe his name is Luca. I don't know his last name really. We talked before, and I told you I don't like to know too much about my opponent. I let my coach and my camp do that side of the work for me. I've seen a little bit of tape on him. He's got some good kickboxing experience, so I'm really looking forward to this fight. It's his hometown. I don't know if it's his hometown, but he's an Italian fighting in Italy, so he's definitely going to bring in the heat. You know, I'm really looking for a 3-round war.
Nice. Hey, and by the way, congrats on your MMA debut. It was about a month ago. It looked great. We saw it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming. I mean, ever since I was in Lion Fight and doing these shows with you guys and going on the podcast, you guys have been asking, so when are you doing MMA? When are you doing MMA? Well, there it is. That was my MMA debut, and I'm really looking forward to go back and forth between kickboxing and MMA with Bellator.
Yeah, I'm glad that, right away you go from MMA to kickboxing, so you're staying busy, and that's the way to do it. This is Gaston Bolanos we're talking to, folks. He'll be fighting Luca somebody in Italy, and this will be in kickboxing on Bellator 176. Goes, what do you have for Gaston?
Gaston, when you have an MMA match and then you have a kickboxing match, do you just flip a switch? Do you still train MMA during that camp at all, or does that kind of get put on the back burner?
You know, it just really depends how close the kickboxing fight is. Since this fight was so close to my last one, I had to flip the switch completely and go just into stand-up and just into stand-up training. Leading up to my last fight, I was doing a lot of wrestling at Team Alpha Male, a lot of ground game at CSA, and a lot of more MMA rounds. This time I've just been doing focused on stand-up for this fight uniquely. Yeah.
Can you tell the audience, some people really fell in love with watching Access TV Lion fights, but can you tell them the main differences between kickboxing and Muay Thai in rules?
So in this next fight, there won't be any elbows. Clinch is very minimal, and I believe it's like 1 or 2 knees in the clinch, so there's not as much clinch. Also, it's a lot faster pace because it's only 3 3-minute rounds, versus in Muay Thai, it's 5 3-minute rounds. So those are the main differences. The clinch and the elbows, a lot faster pace on kickboxing.
How long did it take you to kind of get used to that, not throwing the elbows? Because that's one of your greatest assets.
Well, first of all, I'm happy I get to do them in MMA. So that if I couldn't do them at all, that would be different. But it's just, I don't know. As an athlete, I've been doing kickboxing rules for a while when I was an amateur that I couldn't throw elbows. So I don't know. It kind of comes to second nature. It's flipping the switch that you just can't do it. It's just you just know. It's kind of hard to describe it. Like I just know I can't throw elbows, and it's just not part of the rule set. But yeah, like I was mentioning, it's a different pace. It's 2 less rounds, so you have to go right off the bat. Versus in Muay Thai, I would kind of like figure out my opponent the first, and then I would have 2 to 5 to kind of like get the fight in. But now I just have to start right off the bat and go in a much faster pace.
We also have former Tachi Palace bantamweight and flyweight champ and UFC veteran Ulysses Gomez in studio with us. Ulysses, what do you have for Gaston?
Hey, regarding your contract, so you're fighting MMA and kickboxing. Do you have a separate one for MMA and a separate one for boxing, or do you just have to do like a certain amount of fights either or with Bellator? How does that work out?
So I'm fine for both. I was trying to go kickboxing on the main card, and then I made my debut in MMA. So I'm honestly just trying to go back and forth every time, as much as I can throughout the year. I don't really care if I do 2 MMA fights, 1 kickboxing fight, or 2 kickboxing fights, 1 MMA fight. I would prefer to go just back and forth between both, because it just keeps me busy like that. But I don't. There's on my contract it doesn't say how many fights I'm gonna do on each one. I'm just trying to go back and forth.
It's the same pay?
What was that?
Is it the same pay for both?
No,
Okay.
It's different pay for kickboxing. Definitely more money because that's what my background is, and I have a little bit more of a following just as a stand-up fighter. Whereas in MMA, I'm trying to make a name for myself.
Gotcha. All right, interesting. All right, Ghost, you said you had a follow-up. You had anything else?
No. I was just gonna say the only reason I asked the question about the timing and all that is because a guy we were talking about earlier, Vanderlei Silva. How many times in the UFC did he deck a guy and then have that little look like he wanted to throw that soccer kick?
The soccer kick,
and
right,
had to turn it off really quick,
Yeah, are you thinking a lot there, Gaston? All these different rule sets, or is it really that easy for you? You already pre-trained for all this.
Well, for my last fight, I was doing a lot of elbows and spinning elbows and all that, and that I'm used to, as you guys have seen previously in my career. But for this fight, I just kind of like shut it all off and just don't do them at all. While I'm sparring, while I'm drilling, while I'm hitting pads, just no elbows at all. And I think that's helped. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, since I was 11 years old. And I've been switching back and forth in rules for a long time. So I think it'll be okay. Hopefully, I'm not that guy that's getting disqualified for throwing an elbow on Spike TV.
All right, brother. We'll keep it short. Thanks as always for doing the show. We appreciate it, and safe travels to Milan, Italy, and good luck at Bellator 176.
Yeah, thank you, man. Good to catch up with you guys.
You too. All right, take care. All right, folks. That's Gaston Bolanos, who will be doing some kickboxing for Bellator on their Bellator 176 card. which also does have some MMA. He's 1-0 now in mixed martial arts, and now he's going back to kickboxing. Well, came from Muay Thai, but you know what I mean. Stand-up combat sports. So I want to thank Gaston, Bolanos, and Damian Norris for their time. Thank you to Bellator for that hookup on Gaston, and Oren Hodak for Damian Norris. And Ulysses, great to catch up with you, and thanks for co-hosting.
Well, yeah, I just want to say happy birthday to the biggest Bronco fan I know, Juan Ramirez.
Juan Ramirez, yeah.
Biggest Bronco fan out there.
Follow Ulysses on Twitter at Ulysses Gomez. And if you want...
Useless Gomez.
Useless Gomez. Yeah, you're right. I'm staring right at it. Useless Gomez. And if you want to get some personal training at a high level from somebody who has actually educated himself in that and has also learned from all the strength and conditioning he's had in his life, you need to contact Useless Gomez on Twitter or on Facebook. And he's very economical, and he's changed our lives. So
you too could look like me.
Don't say that.
We'll see you tomorrow. Go out there and be champions.
Cost me my very last dime.